Greetings to all, and welcome to our show. It's called Eureka, How a Woman Can Thrive at Any Age. I'm your host, Glenda Shankal, and for decades, I've successfully coached thousands of women on discovering a straightforward and easy path to their very own best lives, and I can help you find your best life too. In this show, we cover the most important things in a woman's life: happy relationships and connectivity, career and money choices for your financial freedom, and also beauty and health. Guests on the show are experts in all these areas, and we'll also be talking about how to transform tragedy or heartache into a personal triumph. On Eureka, we'll be covering the things that matter most. You know, as different as we women are because of where we were born, how we grew up, or how we were educated, maybe in a university or maybe in a village, it turns out that really we're more alike than different. So no matter where in the world you live, no matter what your lifestyle, you share with other women a longing for love and genuine connection, a need for abundance, money, and personal freedom, and a hope for relationships that work smoothly and bring you joy. And sometimes we struggle with challenges and burdens which can be hard to bear. I'm here to help you with each one of these dreams, needs, and hopes. You are not alone with your deeper questions, and on my website, you'll find tools, tips, and smart action steps to help you live your best life. These are the very same tools I've been offering to my clients for decades. The website's called lovecomseasily.com. The idea is that love should be easy to find and nourish, and it can and should successfully last a lifetime. So thank you for joining me. And now let's get started. I warmly welcome you to Eureka, How a Woman Can Thrive at Any Age. Welcome to the Eureka Show, Amy. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so pleased that you're here today. We're going to be talking about all kinds of cool things related to emotional quality of life. We'll discuss the problem of feeling good about yourself from several different angles during this conversation. Helping women feel good about who they are is one of Amy Schuber's areas of professional expertise. So here's some information about Amy herself. Amy Schuber is a life and business coach. She's been working with women leaders, entrepreneurs, and individuals for the past decade. She loves guiding women back to themselves with her strategic mind, savvy spirituality, curated resources, and straight-up smarts. She has an innate ability to see clients' true potential and strategies needed to unlock their possibilities. Amy is also the host of the Inspired Conversations podcast, bringing insight from today's thought leaders to help all of us live a life and business with the most conscious, mindful way that we can. Amy truly believes you are the one you've been waiting for. All right, Amy, so let's dive in and talk about getting inspired to live a great life and feeling good and feeling empowered to take charge and change things if need be.
Oh, I love this conversation so much.
I know it's going to be fun, huh? Go ahead.
Yeah. We have so much in common, you know, like wanting women to live their best lives and helping them and providing resources. And, you know, women are so powerful. And, you know, for the work I do and where I've come from is we just get in our own way. You know, we do it all. We seem to we were able to juggle a lot of things. But what I've witnessed from my clients' work and witnessed from my own life, we tend to be the ones to get in our own ways because we're either looking outside ourselves for the answers or we're overdoing it. And we drive ourselves to that place of exhaustion and overwhelm and just burnout. And me personally, I had that same experience and I'm witnessing it happening with women, especially just right now. We're just taking ourselves to that brink. And it's the time for us to stop and come back to ourselves to really tap in to see what it is that we individually need to take care of for ourselves, not anybody else, but for ourselves so we can move forward and be our best selves. Because I think we lose sight of that along the way. It does not happen all at once. It happens in little pieces. And then when we come to that overwhelm and exhaustion, we feel like, oh, who is this? What am I doing? You know?
It's almost the most common problem for women in our time, don't you think?
Yes, because I think it happens so unassumingly. We're working, we're taking care of our families, we're doing all these things because we feel like we're meant to and we want to, and we just are moving along. And I think we just keep adding to our plates and adding to our plates because we can, like we can handle it. Like, oh, put another plate on there, let's spin it. And then we look around and we're like, I got 50 plates spinning and I don't think I can take another one. But we go to the brink because we just can, and we're strong and we can handle it until we can't.
I've never heard anyone call it going to the brink, but I'd say half of the women I know are teetering somewhere in that neighborhood of the brink, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. So can we talk about inspiration itself? Because that's something you mentioned, I mentioned, how we have to feel really inspired to change anything in our lives at all. Why does it take inspiration to make changes, do you think, Amy?
Well, I think it takes inspiration because we need to have that, like, oh, that aha, that ooh, that excites me. And I think the inspiration pulls you out of that overwhelm. It gives you a different feeling. It taps you on the shoulder, or it excites you. And I think that's the energy we need to sort of snap out of it. Because you can be inspired and then do nothing with it all the time. That happens to everybody, I think. But I think it's just those moments of those taps and those nudges of, ooh, this is exciting, or ooh, that perks my attention. And as we all know, we're all inspired by different things. But I think it's what lights you up. And then if you feel inspired to get an action around it, whatever it is, you'll move towards it and you'll do something. And then that inspiration pulls you along because that's what you might need in the moment. And it literally could be anything. We are inspired by so many different things that it lifts us up. And if it lifts us up enough that we could get that momentum and start moving towards something because we're inspired by it, for me, that's my intention, to have that lift and then get the momentum so it keeps moving you towards something. If we're in exhaustion, sometimes we are not inspired by anything. We're really just inspired by a nap or sleeping or doing nothing, but in those moments, if we can have that inspiration and think, oh, I'd like to join in on that. Oh, that's something I could do or be. I think that's what I need in my life. I feel that feeds us, and inspiration feeds us, and we can drink a lot of inspiration, and have it, move right through us. But sometimes it just takes that one extra thing that lifts us up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the game of overwhelm. I lived in the game of overwhelm myself for I don't even know how long. It seemed like a million years. And inspiration, I didn't connect inspiration with the ability to make change. I think a lot of times overwhelm creates a sense of defeat and personal failure. Women take it personally that they're tired or they can't please their loved ones enough. What would you say to the problem about defeat that comes with exhaustion?
Wow, I've been there too, and it's hard. Defeat can feel so hard, but we're so hard on ourselves. So part of if we have the inspiration, and the inspiration can be like with colleagues or family or friends that actually get us, we can reach out to them when we're in that defeatist moment. We can say, like, can we talk about it? Can we communicate about how I'm feeling? Even if it's just a one-liner, like, I just had the weirdest, worst day and I need to tell somebody about it, rather than just sucking it up and keep it moving like nothing is going on. I think when defeat gets to us is when we let it pile on and we're just holding it in. And we need those moments of movement, whether it's a conversation or doing something different in that defeat moment. So we're not wallowing in it. That's a word my mom would use. So we're not just, wallowing and rolling around in it and staying there. We need to share it a bit more. And I can promise you we all feel it at some point. So we all relate to it. And we just are really hard on ourselves. So when we're feeling defeated, maybe be a little nicer to yourself in the language you're using in your head, and know that you're still okay and you'll get through it. And there's help around the corner, or you can get through it, and just know that you're not alone.
Yeah, this is a great conversation. I wish I could have had a conversation like this 15 years ago, right before I understood these things. How can a woman learn to be inspired by herself? We talked about getting inspired by people we trust. What about habits a woman could develop that would move her toward inspiration and out of defeat or overwhelm?
So this is sort of the same thing. I could say the same thing. Me too. I wish I knew these things before. But part of my journey was when I was in my exploration, when I had left the corporate world, because I was feeling so defeated and unhappy and unfulfilled in what I was doing. I left, and there was a moment where I was doing the exploring, and I was at the women's conference, and Maria Shriver read this Hopi poem, and the very last line was, "We are the ones we've been waiting for." And when I heard that line, I got chills, and I thought, oh, I'm seeking all the answers from everybody around me, but I'm the one. So I took that as, oh, I'm the one. We're the ones. And it means a lot of things in that poem. But for me, it was, Amy, you're the one. You've got the answers. And I think to be inspired by you means point your finger back at you. You know, what inspires me? Because what inspires me is different from what inspires you and what inspires my sister or my mother or our friends, right? So get clear of who you are, who you're missing in your life, like from an activity that you're missing. Are you being creative enough? Are you exercising enough? Are you doing the things you love enough? Whatever those are. And that's where we start cultivating that inspiration from ourselves. And
we have to take a break, Pumpkin, so hang on there. Hold the thought. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to Eureka, How a Woman Can Thrive at Any Age, which can also be found on xzbn.net and X Zone Broadcast Network, and also found on lovecomeseasily.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV. Plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
We live in rapidly shifting times of extreme volatility and uncertainty. Such profound change brings a unique opportunity for the evolution of consciousness. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, host of Mission Evolution Radio Show, a program that explores the latest scientific developments and deepening spiritual truths supporting human evolution. Join me on xzbn.net, where I interview leading experts in science, physics, medicine, spirituality, and more. By applying divergent viewpoints to leading-edge topics, we uncover expansive and evolutionary truth to assist you on your path to enlightenment. More information and past episodes are available at missionevolution.org.
Welcome back. I'm Glenda Shankal, and you're listening to Eureka, which is being heard on xzbn.net and can be found on lovecomeseasily.com. Today, I'm discussing with Amy all the things that we need to do to move toward inspiration and transformation. But today, I'm also going to let you know about my special offer. You can get a special discount, a surprise discount on my by popular demand audio course, Love Comes Easily. For just a few days, you can save $300 on my audio course to help you find the love of a lifetime easily. Just enter this code at checkout, JUL18. This offer only runs a few days, and I might never offer it again. Okay, so now back to Amy Schuber. You can check out her Inspired Conversations podcast at this website address, www.inspiredconversations.net. All right, Amy, let's get back to what we were talking about. Let's talk some more about inspiration, helping a woman learn the skills to create her own inspiration for change. Go right back in and talk about it, would you please?
Absolutely. So being inspired by you, coming back to yourself, you've got to give yourself the space to be yourself and hear yourself and feel yourself again. And I think what happens when we're in that overwhelm, we lose that sense of self. And it sounds so simple, right? That, oh, I know who I am, or I know what I want. But if we're in that race and we're just running, and we're overwhelmed and we're tired and we're feeling defeated, there's a moment of pause that needs to happen. So, what I would say is a great thing to do is give yourself space, give yourself a few minutes a day to just reconnect back to you, because you have the answers. You are the one you've been waiting for. And you've got to give yourself that space to get out of your head and back into your heart, back into your body, because when we're running, we are just in our heads completely. And I know that because that's how I experienced it, and how I ran right into overwhelm and just being unfulfilled with what I was doing. And when I paused and gave myself the moment to say, like, what's going on here? Why am I so miserable every Sunday night before I go to work on Monday? What's going on? What is happening here? And I gave myself that time to have that inquiry with myself. I started having that self-discovery. And I think sometimes when we're in that overwhelm, we don't want to go there because it feels scary, because we might realize, oh, I am unhappy, or I am missing out on something, or I did put something on the shelf that I really wish I hadn't, or I really want to get back to. And I understand that. And it's so safe for us to say, you know what? I want to do things differently. This isn't working for me anymore. And I want to take some steps to doing something differently so I feel more fulfilled. And those can be baby steps. It doesn't have to be dramatic things that happen. It can be baby steps, like giving yourself that 5 minutes to just sit in quiet so you can hear your heart, not hear your head, because we're always running constantly in our head. We have so many thoughts a day. It's hear your heart so you can breathe into that, and then uncover more of you that maybe has been missing because you've been so focused on everybody else and everything else and everybody else's lives and in business and in our jobs. It's our focus goes elsewhere. And I say, just turn that focus back to you. And it can look like meditation. It could look like a walk. It could look like getting out your art and starting to paint again just for fun, or taking a dance class. I mean, there's so many things that could spark it, and it's individual and it's unique, and it's whatever you've let go of, I would say. And it's probably that thing you haven't done in a while also.
I love this. This is super juicy talk here. In your bio, you talk about mindfulness. So how would you connect the concept of mindfulness with what you just said? And what is mindfulness anyways?
To me, mindfulness is presence. It's being really present with what is happening for you in the moment. If your feelings are coming up and you're feeling something, it's being mindful that, ooh, I feel angry right now. And it's noticing that before acting on it, so being responsive instead of reactive, and being really present with your surroundings, being really present with who you're talking to, what they're saying. Are you listening, or are you interrupting and talking over them? For me, mindfulness is just being really aware and present and in the present moment, and responsive in the present moment. And I think bringing mindfulness back to ourselves, being really mindful of ourselves in the moment, because sometimes when we're present, we're really aware of everything going around us, but it's also being inclusive of ourselves. Like, what's going on with me right now in the midst of this, and how am I feeling right now, and really presencing what's coming up. And this is the practice of that reaction versus responsiveness. Like, it happens when we're driving, someone cuts us off. Do you instantly honk and yell at them, or do you take your foot off the gas and you let them in, and you're like, okay, I'm supposed to slow down? It's like, where are you? Are you able to process it and not have that react, like honk, or are you able to just be calm in the matters? Because we show up like that in so many areas of our lives. So mindfulness, I think, is a key to that presencing and allowing ourselves to hear ourselves and hear the soft, quiet voice, not the voice that might be interrupting us in our head and telling us what to do and sort of nagging us all the time. It's that soft, quiet voice that really wants you to be inspired by you. And there's a time where I think we override it with our loud voice, which is our ego. And I know this because I've lived in my ego a lot. And it's a voice that's behind that ego. It's softer, it's quieter, but you have to give that space to be heard.
Mm-hmm. I also want to just throw in here that it's okay to be angry or frustrated or irritated or hateful or ashamed or cranky or confused. And when we go in, I think I used to think, oh, I can't have those feelings, so then I'd override them. Mm-hmm. Right. But every feeling's okay, because you can't respond till you know what you're feeling. Right. Exactly. And that's part of mindfulness. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I think it's such a good point that you make, because we all push it down. I think at some point we all suppress our feelings, whether they're happy or sad or negative or good, or however we label them. All of them need to come up. Have you ever been in a situation where you're just happy? You're just really happy. And someone looks at you like, why are you so happy? And it's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be happy. So we put it away. It could be the same with anger. Like, I feel really angry about what's happening right now. Whether you say something or do something is not the point. It's just the feeling of it. Like you said, allowing it without the judgment. Like, wow, I feel really angry about what's happening at this conversation at the table. And I'm just going to let it pass through me. Because when you feel it and you're mindful of it and you let it pass through you, that's where the brilliance is. Because behind that, you'll feel the inspiration later. You'll feel other things. But if you suppress these feelings, positive or negative, they start building up in us. And then that's where we start numbing out. And then that's where we can't find ourselves and can't reach our inspiration. Where, if someone says, what do you want to do today? And you're like, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm not inspired by anything. That's that space, because why not? Like, what's going on in us that we can't tap into something that's going to be fun or inspiring for us, or hear that inspiration from someone who is clearly inspiring, when they're talking, and letting it land with us. It has nowhere to land if we're so full of these emotions that we're not processing.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I've discovered is it's become easy with long practice. I'm saying with long practice to say something in conversation like, I'm so angry that blah, 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 but my tone of voice is exactly the same. I'm not reacting at all. I'm just expressing the truth of the matter. And then suddenly the solutions begin to appear, or the inspiration arises, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You express it, and then it allows the space for it to come back. What happens when we don't express it? It doesn't create the space for the solution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, this is really profound. What we just said should be written on a banner and hung somewhere cool. So, I want to talk about thought leaders. So first of all, what's a thought leader?
To me, a thought leader is someone who is studying, who is teaching, who is sharing their message in the world in a big way. And the thought leader to me is someone who's also making a positive impact on the world with their work. And so it could be, like the work you do, you're a thought leader to me. I mean, we see so many amazing thought leaders out there who are doing their work, and they're following up with their work because they're inspired by it, and it's important to them, and it makes a difference in the world. That is what a thought leader is to me.
So how could a woman find a thought leader? I mean, conversations like this, we invite people to join us and hear us. But what about women finding the power to become a thought leader for others around them or in their own lives? What about that?
Well, I think it goes right back to being inspired by you. What are you inspired about? What is really interesting you right now? What is something that you want to change? What is something that is like you're on purpose with? You are like, you know what? This is not going to happen anymore. Right now, there's so many movements going on in the world. Like, are you on board with one of those movements and you want to make it something that you communicate in your community or in your family and it's important to you? What is it for you? It's different for everyone. For me, I'm really interested in helping women, find their voice, find this alignment so they can be their best selves, because women are so powerful and so courageous. And I believe we're the ones changing the world right now. This is why we're seeing this rise. And I can't tell you why I feel this way. I've always felt this way. And for others listening, if you feel this way about something, it could be anything. I know people that feel this way about animals or peace or, being a vegan and eating veggies. It could be literally anything. It could be about your family and how you're raising your children in a conscious way. If it's your thing and you are cultivating that knowledge and the message to share, you're a thought leader and you're making an impact because you're wanting to influence people's lives in a positive way. And you're uplifting the planet.
I love it.
Broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond. You're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Welcome back. I'm Glenda Shankal, and you're listening to Eureka, How a Woman Can Thrive at Any Age. I'd like to remind listeners that I'm offering my best-selling program, Love Comes Easily, at a special price for just a few days only. You can save $300 off a program that will soon cost quite a bit more. It's guaranteed to change your life for the better. To get the special deal, you just enter in a promo code at checkout when you go to lovecomeseasily.com. The code is JUL18. All right, so our guest today is Amy Schuber, who hosts a wonderful podcast that you can find at www.inspiredconversations.net. All right, Amy, my dear, now let's talk about creating alignment in life. First of all, what does alignment between a person and her life look like?
I think it's kind of interesting to answer that question, because I think we know when we're out of alignment, right? More than maybe we know when we're in alignment. And so it's interesting. I think you just know what you know about being in alignment. Are you living the life of your dreams? Are you living the life you thought you were going to be living? Are you, expressing yourself the way you thought you were going to be expressing yourself? For me, when I was working in corporate America and I was not climbing the ladder the way I thought, things were not working out for me. I was feeling really unfulfilled. I was so very much out of alignment. Now, as I look back, this has been about 13 years ago when I left, I realized it's because I have an entrepreneur spirit. I'm a teacher at heart. I have this voice that I want to share. And that wasn't something that I was able to do in that corporate arena that I happened to be in. So for me, I was completely out of alignment. And now I'm more in alignment because I'm expressing myself in the ways that I am meant to express myself. And I think you can find your alignment in, are you doing the things that, are your strengths? Are you doing the things that you thought you might be doing when you were younger, that you had this pull to? Are you being, pulled by your dream and your vision? And if you're not, and you're kind of caught up in something else, and you're not feeling good about it, that's when you're out of alignment. To me, alignment is about feeling good about where you are and what you're doing in your life. It doesn't mean, you can have a job that maybe isn't your dream job, but be in completely alignment because you're expressing yourself the way you feel good expressing yourself at work, Mm-hmm. So I feel like alignment is, it can kind of ebb and flow, but when you're out of alignment, when you're not allowing yourself to be as creative as you are, or expressing yourself in the ways that you want to be expressing yourself in your work and in your personal life.
I also think it's important to throw in here the idea that it's okay if some parts of a life are out of alignment right now. Maybe this year something will be out of alignment for a reason, a specific reason. Or it's okay if you're emotionally aligned, but like your physical work doesn't line up, as we were saying, right? To be at peace with, this will shift when the time comes, or this will change later when circumstances are different. Like, for example, a single mom raising kids alone with a job, it's hard for her to find her dreams, right? Because she's so buried in experience. So yeah, what about a situation like that? What would you say to a woman like that?
Well, I think you're correct. It's that we're not maybe always in alignment with everything at all the time. I don't know if we're ever in alignment with everything ever, mm-hmm. But if we have the awareness of where we're out of alignment, then we know what we need to work on. Like if you're a single mom working and you are doing all your best, but you could be doing something else that would make you a lot happier or give you more joy, find a piece of that and pull it into your world on some level. Mm-hmm. If it's just having some time and space for yourself, if it's doing something you love, like pulling out your artwork, it's just bringing in something that can make you feel like you're connected with the things as well. And I think it's just also a point to have the recognition of where you are in your life. Alignment to me feels like, is it your head and your heart? Are they aligned? Like which one's ruling you in the moment? And sometimes for me, when I'm out of alignment, my head is ruling me. And so I need to get in alignment by getting more into my heart, in my heart space, in my work. And, it's not always about jobs, careers, business, or personal life. It's really the personal alignment that you have as well, because we have access to that. Like we were saying before about our emotions, sometimes it's about expressing our emotions so we can be more alignment with our heart center.
Mm-hmm. I also find on that same vein that just making the best of a rough situation and deciding, this could take months or years to be different, and I'm just going to make the best of it. Just make the best of something, right? Hang in there.
Absolutely. And like you're saying, being in acceptance, that can be completely in alignment, right? Because you're allowing yourself to be there and have what it is, and you're accepting it because you're aware of it. I think what happens when we're in denial and pushing everything away and trying not to maybe act on things, and that's when we get really way out of alignment. I think when the more awareness we have around things and acceptance around it and acknowledging it, that's really supportive of our lives as well.
And also the thing about blaming ourselves when things don't feel right, that used to be a default setting for me. Have you ever gone through that too, Amy?
Are you kidding? Of course. Yes, and yes. I mean, I think for me, I'm the toughest on myself. I work on that all the time. I'm still tough on myself. And so, notice that. And I have to notice it and catch myself like, wow. And sometimes people catch it like, Amy, you're being harder on you than anyone else would be. And I'm like, really? Okay, good to know. So I think, on some level, maybe we all do that to ourselves, and noticing it and catching ourselves is part of that alignment practice. Again, this is practice. This is getting in alignment. I think it's a life practice. It's a life's work, right? It's ever evolving. We're always evolving, and it's a practice for sure.
It's like planting a tree, and it takes 20 years to grow big, right?
Mm-hmm.
So which thought processes, we've talked about a lot of stuff, and this has been really wonderful, but what other thought processes would you say get in the way of feeling inspired and being confident that we can solve what we're coping with and handling challenges with confidence, even if we don't know how to solve a problem when we first see it?
I think something we might do is isolate ourselves, and so if we could connect with others around the situation, even if it's one person, whatever the challenge is, we get in our way because we might beat ourselves up because we feel bad about the situation. It could be relationship related. It could be with children. It could be with, our business or our career. And I feel, and what I've come to learn is when I reach out and ask for help from either a colleague or a friend or a community member, that is what snaps me out of something, rather than thinking I can figure it out myself or I have to go through this alone. Because when I've been in situations where I've shared what's going on, even if it's something really vulnerable, I recognize that a guard goes down and the person who I might be sharing with has something really smart and has some wise words for me that I might not have received had I not said something. And I think we get in our own ways when we think we can do it all ourselves, including figure things out, or maybe we just need someone to be a space holder for us. Like this happened in my relationship, and I feel really crazy about it, and I feel sad about it, and I just need someone to hear that for me. And instead of feeling bad about what happened, I think that really gives us that space to release and then receive. And that's part of that circulation energy that happens for us in the world. When we release something, we receive something, like you mentioned earlier, like the solution comes, or the idea comes, or the support comes, and it comes in the most unexpected ways. But I also know it comes when we allow it to come. And I think that happens when we're sharing and giving of ourselves and allowing ourselves not to have to figure it out alone, because we're not alone here. We are just not alone. There's a lot of resources for us, including spiritual. We get those downloads, we get those ideas, we get that intuitive hit when we're open and allowing ourselves to receive it.
What about a woman who lives in a place? I used to live on a military base overseas. I spent years in that lifestyle. What about women who are isolated? They don't have their normal support structure around them. How could they reach out to find those who can receive what they have to say, help them find their way in the way that you've been describing? What would you say?
I just had a conversation with someone the other day, and she was talking about how connection, even if it's on Skype, the face-to-face or a FaceTime or in community like live and in person, if you can get that connection with somebody, that's really important. And I agree. I think if there's a way for you to connect, face-to-face, even if it's through technology, and use that as your place to reach out. I mean, with technology these days, you can reach out on a lot of different ways, sending an email or a text. And if there is no technology, then you might have to go out of your comfort zone and find the social structure around you and the community in live and in person, and step out of that comfort zone to find the people to talk to. Because I believe in every area of the world, there is some sort of community, even if it's really small, that we can connect to. It's allowing ourselves to find it and be vulnerable in it, even if it seems scary, because we're not in a space or a place we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I even tell people, just ask the universe, see what the universe will bring you, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, I believe that too. Like, we're not alone. Ask the universe, ask your guides, ask whoever you ask, and then be present for the answer that might come. It might not come right away. It might come, shortly thereafter, but ask, put it up.
We need to take our last break. Stay tuned to Eureka on xzbn.net and lovecomesεasily.com, which can also be heard on xzbn.net and X-Zone Broadcast Network. After the break, we'll find out more about transformation.
Zone? Now watch it on SimulTV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is SimulTV. SimulTV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. SimulTV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have SimulTV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
The new nonfiction book, Razor of Madness, is similar to cult movies like Clockwork Orange, Dragon's Tattoo, or The Other Side of Hell. Wayne Morin Jr. and Thomas Lee Howell will expose widespread and systematic deficiencies in this thought-provoking tell-all novel. Mind control rages among scholars in law schools. Human rights are ignored while thought reform and mental manipulation are accepted practices used as behavior modification. Dr. Louis Jolyon West comes to mind. Media and public scrutiny shows that United States mental hospitals are in fact destructive murder industries. Razor of Madness expose novel details this epidemic through an in-depth professional and personal investigation. For decades, there has been a revolving door policy that still releases killers and pedophiles back into society. The maestro of mind control continues to haunt America to this very day. Razor of Madness is available in paperback or as a downloadable ebook at Amazon.com.
The concept of a new age has been around since the late 19th century, yet much of its original meaning has been lost. What exactly is the new age? Is it a religion, a collection of obscure esoteric practices, a series of doomsday predictions, or an astrological event? The New Age Chronicles is a unique complementary publication bringing reason and grounded information to separate fact from fiction. chock full of valuable information to support you as we make the monumental shift into the new era. You won't want to miss a single innovative issue. The New Age Chronicles newspaper is coming soon to www.newagechronicles.com.
Welcome back. I'm Glenda Shankal, and you're listening to Eureka. Before we get back to our cool guest, Amy Schuber, I want to remind listeners again to take advantage of my very special offer. Go to lovecomeseasily.com and sign up to get my popular audio course, Love Comes Easily, for a very limited time price. You can save $300 on the course that's written and designed to help you easily discover the lifestyle of happiness that will allow love to come easily to you without effort, and maybe to bring love in your life from every direction, which is the result it created for me. The promo code will only stay open on my site for just a very few days. Here's the code, JUL18. All right, let's go back to Amy Schuber, host of the Inspired Conversations podcast. And the website address for that podcast is www.inspiredconversations.net. All right, Amy, let's talk some more about what's the secret sauce for living a life of like sort of gentle transformation, happiness, ease, being at peace with others. What would you say the secret sauce is?
Oh my gosh, there's so many different flavors of that sauce. I think being easy on yourself while you're in transformation, knowing that when you step into changing and transforming and wanting to, really be inspired by you and connecting with yourself, it's a practice. And I think the secret sauce is being patient with yourself and being really loving and kind to yourself. Throw that unconditional love on yourself in the midst of everything, because it's a process and it's going to take time. Some things will shift quickly and radically. And sometimes when you have a radical shift, it really throws things into a whirl and you're like, whoa. And it might not always feel good because what you're asking for sometimes flips things upside down and you're like, whoa, is that what I asked for? But sometimes, yes, it is. And I think if we can be patient and really loving and kind to ourselves in the process of transformation and say, like you said, gentle, allow it to be gentle, allow it to be easy for ourselves, I think that makes a world of difference, because when we're harder on ourselves or we are judging it and labeling it, I think it slows the process down, and that contributes to swirling in it a little bit longer. It contributes to maybe the resistance of the transformation, because, be careful what you ask for, because if you want change, you'll get it. And it might not show up the way you're asking it to show up. I'm pretty positive it will show up differently. And it will be brilliant and beautiful on the other side. But there's that space in between, there's that journey and that road we go on, and it's not always what we think it's going to be. And I say, if we can be really loving and kind, and believe me, I'm practicing this myself even now, because we're ever evolving and we're always changing and we're always transforming, quite frankly. It's just, are we doing it consciously, and are we doing it with our heart, leading with our heart first? And when we're making some dramatic changes because we absolutely know we're out of alignment and we want to shift something, that's when it can be sort of jolting. But if you can be really loving and kind with yourself in the process, that will make a world of difference for you.
I love that. That's very nice. And to expect bumps or discomfort or bad days or crankiness, right? Always
Absolutely.
Remembering. And it can strike at any moment. Who cares if you feel bad? What if you have a bad week or month? That's okay. It doesn't matter, right?
It happens. I mean, it happens. And this is something I don't think anyone ever really told me when I was getting into personal development and self-discovery and transformation. Nobody really told me there's going to be some bad days. There's going to be some things that shift and you're not going to like it, but it's going to lead you in the direction that you're headed. And, there's going to be an off-ramp you don't want to take, but it's a detour. It feels like a detour, but it's taking you to exactly what you're asking for. Just go with it and be nice to yourself. But there are going to be some frustrating days, some bad days, not all the days, but they're going to be in there, and just go with it. Like you said, just, it's part of the process. It's part of the journey. It's like when you go to the airport and your flight's delayed, you don't leave the airport necessarily because you still want to go where you're going, especially if you're going somewhere fun. You're going to wait it out, and you're going to, you're going to be there for a minute or an hour or a day. You're going to wait it out. And I think it's the same thing. You're willing to get to the other side. You just have to let yourself have that process and be easy on yourself and be nice to yourself. Yeah.
That's nice. I like that analogy about the airport. This week, right, I had a phenomenally brilliant, magnificent day. It was a 10 plus on a scale of 1 to 5, right? And then the next day was just abysmally cruddy and nasty and draggy and frustrating. And then the next day was phenomenal once again. But in the middle of the miserable day that seemed to drag on forever, I just kept telling myself, oh, well, try to make the best of it. This day will pass. And I just dragged through the day. It was somehow emotionally, psychologically, like the thumb screws were on, right? But that's just part of the process. There's no way you'll ever get to a day in your life or a time in your life when you don't have those kinds of days, right?
It's true. I had one this week too, where I thought, I didn't want to say like what else could go wrong because I did not want to invite that in, but I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy what's happening and breaking down today, and technology stuff that was out of my control. And yeah, you know what? I had to sit and cry a little bit before I made the phone call to the tech department. I was like, well, let me cry for a second and let it out because I feel really angry and frustrated and I'm annoyed, and I'm going to cry it out for a second. I just needed a few minutes. And then I called, and it actually worked out, but it started off really crazy. And I was like, well, this is interesting. And yes, we have them. A lot of it is out of our control, and we just, okay, there it is. So we just roll with it.
For sure. Let's talk about, we haven't discussed this yet, the connection between overwhelm and disappointing others. And because it's so much in alignment with the conversation we've had, sometimes it seems impossible to let others down. And so we just keep on doing way too much, no matter how burned out and exhausted and physically sick we become. What would you say to that problem? This is something women do a lot, as you know and I know. What would you say?
I would say look at your life and see how much you're saying yes to things you don't want to be doing, and that disease to please. Where are you saying yes, and then you have it on your calendar and you're like, oh, I just don't want to do this. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. Notice that first, and then start looking at the things that you can start saying no to, and, honor your commitments. But when you start noticing that you're in that space, you have to start saying no. You have to start pulling back. It's hard at first. And you have to, and I think another trick to say to yourself is ask yourself before you say yes to anybody, ask yourself, is this going to serve me? I know it's going to serve them if I show up, but is it going to serve me? And if you hear no, then there's your answer. And at first it's hard to say no to people because you don't want to disappoint them. But I promise, when you get that freedom from being so overscheduled, and you'll start getting your sleep back, you'll start feeling rested, you'll start feeling better. And then you'll realize, oh, it's really okay if I say no to these things and do what's best for me. And you can always not answer the question when someone asks you, to book something. You can always say, can I get back to you? And that gives you space to not have to commit right away. And then, because if you say yes and then you don't want to cancel, I think that's what happens to a lot of us. We say yes and then we don't want to cancel. And so give yourself the space to think about it. I think that's really helpful. But it's a transition. There's a transition moment there because you have that yes, yes, yes. I've been there too. Just ask yourself, go back to yourself. You're the one, is this going to serve me? And if you hear yes, then book it. But if you hear no, don't. And just honor that.
So in about one more minute, what's another tidbit you'd love to share with guests, something they may have been waiting their whole lives to hear?
I just want you all to know that you are the ones you've been waiting for. You have the answers. If something in this conversation and so much that we've said lands with you, use it, take it, explore it, and see where you can go with it and how it can take you into a new place in your life to explore. But, I don't have the answers for you. You have the answers. If something landed with you, great. Use it and see what happens and see where it leads you. And the proof is in that evidence that shows up for you when you step in that direction of something that you've heard that inspired you and you follow it.
I love it. This has been a fabulous conversation. I so thank you for being on Eureka, Amy. Amy Schuber's podcast website address is once again www.inspiredconversations.net. Do you want to know how to live your best possible life? Tune in often and find out exactly how. And would you like to strengthen relationships, expand abundance and money, improve your health, or even become more beautiful than you used to be? I'm Glenda Shankal, your host for Eureka, How a Woman Can Thrive at Any Age, which can be heard every weekday at various hours right here on xzbn.net radio and X Zone radio station, as well as found on lovecomesEasily.com. For all days and times of Eureka, go to www.xzbn.net and check out our broadcast schedule. And I want to invite you guests one more time to come to my website, lovecomesEasily.com, find out about the special deal running for just a few days only to change your life easily, gently, and in the ways that we've discussed today to provide alignment, joy, purpose, and power to your own life. Plug in the code JUL18 at checkout and your shopping cart and get my deal. Love you, and I want to see you next time. Always remember, offer what's good and inspire others. Your life was meant to be beautiful, and the best is yet to come. This is Glenda Shankal. Until next time.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Are you or is someone you know struggling with addictions, depression, anxiety, relationships, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, grief, success, and prosperity? Do you know that your subconscious belief plays a big role in the outcome of your hard work? We can help you permanently change the beliefs that may be the reason for your struggles and failures. We care about getting you the return on your investment and the results you are looking for. We can help you be free of the limitations of your past and in realizing your highest potential. We work with people by phone and Skype. For more information, visit us at www.ritasoman.com. That's www.ritasoman.com. Do you think you have energy problems in your home? Do you feel better when you're away than when you're home? Joey Korn is a global leader in the world of dowsing who specializes in personal energy clearing and space clearing. He can help you create an ideal energy environment in your home no matter where you live in the world. Learn about his remote spiritual house cleaning services and much more at www.dowsers.com. You can get Joey's book, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment, as well as other dowsing books and tools, Kabbalah books, and Walter Russell books. Joey's work is really amazing. Go to dowsers.com right now. That's DOWSERS.com, or call 1-877-DOWSING. That's 1-877-369-7464.